This is the Six Figure Creative Podcast, episode 394.
Welcome to the Six Figure Creative Podcast, where our mission is to help you turn your creative passions into a stable, reliable income. If you're in audio, video, design, photography, or really any other creative field, and you just want to learn from other successful creatives, you're in the right place.
Every freelancer I've ever met relies on referrals. That is a fact. But why is it that two freelancers can both rely on referrals? One's fully booked, completely solid, with a waiting list, and the other is barely scraping by. In this episode, I'll show you exactly what separates those high-performing referral engines from the ones that barely get work, and what you can do to actually get more high-quality referrals sent your way consistently. And at the end, I'm going to share one move that triggers more referrals using something that 99% of freelancers ignore to their own detriment. If you're new here, hi, I'm Brian Hood. This is the Six Figure Creative Podcast. If you listen when this came out, it's on Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas Eve. I don't know why you're listening to this podcast. You should be driving somewhere or hanging out with family or starting to eat too much food. If you're listening after Christmas, especially way after Christmas, what's up? Glad to see you in time traveler mode. This podcast is for creative freelancers who are trying to earn more money without selling their souls. I bring a lot of influences from a lot of different industries, from a lot of different businesses that I've run in my background, and from all of the experience from my team of 11 people from all around the world at this point. And I bring it onto this podcast, distill it down for you, the freelancer, so that you can earn more money. Again, without selling yourself. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you're at the right place. Let's get into referrals. Referrals, again, are the lifeblood of many freelancers. And chances are, you're listening to this podcast, referrals are probably all of, or at least a lot of, your sources of clients. And the first thing I want to break down in this episode is some of the factors that go into how many referrals you get, because there are a lot of different factors that go into this, and it creates something that I call the referral spectrum. It's essentially a spectrum, a rating, a scale of how referable you are to other people in the world. And the more referable you are, the more referrals you're going to get in most cases. The less referable you are, the less referrals you're going to get, the harder it's going to be to run your business. And this is one of, not all, but one of the factors when it comes to getting more referrals for yourself is becoming more referable. It's increasing yourself up, sliding up that referability scale. And the first factor that I want to cover is just results. Can you do the thing that you sell well? It's the skill level, it's the outcome, it's the results. It's the thing that your clients hire you to do. How good are you? That's basically answering this question. And the better you are, the more referrals you're going to get. I'm not going to spend much time here because you know this inherently. That's why most freelancers obsess over their craft, usually to their own detriment, because this is rarely the thing that's holding you back. In a lot of cases, sometimes it is. Don't get me wrong. Some cases, you're just bad at what you do. You got to get better. You can't get your client results. You got to get better. But many of you, you're amazing at what you do already. So this isn't the issue. So what else is there? The second factor that goes into the referability spectrum is your own likability. Do your clients want to work with you? Do they want to refer people to you? Do they want to be around you? Do they want their friends to be around you? And it comes down to your own personality. Are you outgoing? Are you fun? Are you boisterous? It comes down to not just that, but also your reliability. Some people have like very reserved personalities. They're not like outgoing or crazy or fun to be around, but they're just rock solid, reliable people that you can depend on time and time again. Not just for the freelance services, but for like all aspects of life. I know a few people like that in my life. They're very likable. They're not the life of the party, but they're extremely reliable. Those people, excellent. You can be either one. You can be both, preferably. Another factor that goes into likability is your own communication skills. Some people are just bad at communicating. And because of that, people don't like you. You're the person who never texts people when you're on the way to their house, so they have no idea when to expect you. It's the little things like that. When you're going to be late, letting somebody know that you're going to be late. When the project's going to be late, letting them know. When the project's going to be delivered early, letting them know. Communication goes into a lot of different areas. And when it comes to referrals, I'm talking not just within the context of a project. I mean, in every interaction you have with a person, how likable are you? There's an episode way back in the day I want to refer you to on this podcast. It's episode 13 of this podcast. And the episode is titled, How Social Skills Helped Billy Decker Dominate the Nashville Mixing Scene. So this goes way back when we were called the Six Figure Home Studio Podcast, episode 13. The way you get to that episode is by going to thesixfigurehomestudio.com/13 instead of Six Figure Creative. We rebranded years and years ago, but this is like a 2018 episode, February 2018. Good Lord. But that episode illustrates a really good demonstration of how likable somebody can be. And I'd say Billy Decker's superpower, yes, he's great at mixing. Yes, he's a big part of the country scene here as far as mixing music, but he's just a likable guy. And he is exactly like that in a one-on-one interaction as he is on that episode. So that's the second factor. How likable are you? Are you dependable? What's your personality like? How's your communication style? Essentially, do people want to be around with you? Do they want to work with you or not? You can be amazing at delivering awesome results, but if nobody likes you, good luck getting referrals. The third factor is top of mind. Are you actually top of mind when the need comes? Think about the scenario for a second. Somebody has worked with you, they've hired you, they've liked working with you, they think you're likable, they like the results you gave them, they like the outcome of whatever it is you did for them. And now they're hanging out with somebody months and months later, maybe years later. They're hanging out with somebody who's a perfect fit client for you and they need your service. Months and months later, years and years later, you may no longer be top of mind when that situation arises. And it may not be that they even referred them to someone else. They didn't even go against you. If anyone asked, hey, do you know of anyone who offers this service? They would just say, yeah, Brian Hood is the guy. He's the guy you have to go to. They would always refer you if directly asked. But because you're not top of mind, the situation came up and it kind of just water off the duck's back. They didn't think about you. They didn't think about referring them to someone else. The situation just kind of dissipated into nothing. The conversation was a line that just kind of went in one ear, out the other, without registering to your past client that, hey, this person might be in need of Brian's services. We should refer this person to Brian. And it's because you are not top of mind. And there's a bunch of different ways to stay top of mind. There's like person-to-person interaction if you're in the same city, coffee, lunches, social interaction, social gatherings. There's online interactions where you can just like things on social media, comment on things on social media, send DMs to people, text people, call people. There's old school, new school. There's a million ways of doing this. I'm not going to get into the specific tactics of this, but the question is, are you staying top of mind with your best clients? Preferably with all your clients. We have a client who just joined and he's worked with, I want to say like 4,000 projects over the last year. Or no, maybe it was like 1,700 projects over the last year. That's what it was. 1,700 projects is a lot. It's in the high thousand or thousands. And in that case, there's no way he could stay on top of every single one of his clients in a personal fashion. All he can do is stay top of mind with his best fit clients, like his absolute best favorite VIP clients. Everyone else is going to be done through automated measures. So it's going to be via email list, content, automated follow-ups that feel personal. But the rest of people, the average person, they've worked with 10 to 15 clients over the past year, maybe 20, depending on the niche and the price point. But even 20 clients, that's like less than 2 clients a month. There's no universe where you can't stay top of mind with your 20 clients from this past year. It's probably easy for you to stay top of mind with your past 30 or 40 or 50 clients in the past year or two. And the beauty of this is not only from referrals, but repeat work. Half the time, not every niche, but half the time, especially in the audio niche, someone needs your services. They just haven't made the next step to actually start the project. For example, music producers, mixing engineers, mastering engineers. There's always a project in the pipeline. There's always songs that need to be recorded. There's always songs that need to be finished writing. There's always something that needs to be pushed along. And just by you being top of mind, you're going to get more of those past clients who come back to you again and again, on top of the referrals. So there's really no downside of staying top of mind. But again, this is a weak point for many, many freelancers. The fourth factor that plays into your referability spectrum, think of it like a score from 1 to 100. The fourth factor in this is your own reputation. It's been a long time since I've talked about this on the podcast. We used to talk about this all the time back in the six-figure home studio days about how much your reputation matters. And a way of thinking about this is this affects referrals because you may not have the best reputation. You may have a slimy reputation or a less than stellar reputation. But if your clients like you, they'll still come back to you. As long as you haven't screwed them over, they'll still come back to you, even if you have a bad reputation. What they won't do, though, is refer you to other people because it will hurt their social capital. Social capital is this thing that we inadvertently keep up with as social creatures. And that is, if I recommend a movie or a restaurant and it's bad, that makes me look bad. It hurts my social capital. If I recommend a movie or a restaurant that's amazing, it costs me nothing, but it increases my social capital. And everyone has this theoretical social capital balance based on how good they are referring things to other people. And your reputation is one of those things that your clients factor in whether they're going to refer you to other people or not. And do they think it's going to hurt or help their social capital? And if you offer a very high ticket or expensive service or product, then it's going to cost a lot of capital. It's going to hurt them a lot if that person isn't taken care of when they refer you to them. And one way to think about your own reputation is, what do other people say about you behind your back? If it's not good, this is probably a weak point. And for some people, this can make or break. You can have all the other ducks in a row, but if your reputation is horrible, this can basically be like 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 0. It means you get no referrals. This is one of the more powerful ones when it comes to not just helping you, but more or less hurting you. Number 5 on this list is offer clarity. How clear is your offer? Basically, it's like, how easy is it for someone to refer you to someone else? I'll give you an example. There was a website I was looking at. It was a freelancer, an agency or something. And I was trying to figure out what it is they did. And their headline was this. Their headline was a multi-vertical production company. Okay, what does that mean? Their subheadline, the thing below that said, forged from decades of cross-vertical expertise, creative collaboration, and strategic execution, our expertise is production excellence. Now, if you're like most people listening to this podcast, maybe you're watching on YouTube for some reason. Thank you for watching me. I don't know why you do it. But if you're listening to this podcast, you probably phased out. You probably tuned that out. I'm going to read it again because I want you to see how nothing this sentence is. It's cotton candy. It's not even sweet. It's just fluff. It's smoke. Here's the subheadline one more time. Forged from decades of cross-vertical expertise, creative collaboration, and strategic execution, our expertise is production excellence. This is a great example of someone who has zero offer clarity. There is no chance this person can be referred to someone else in an easy, clear way because most people can't understand what they do. Someone might say, yes, this guy built my website. It was amazing. Cool. I'll go check him out. They go to this guy's website, they go to this and they say, what the hell does that mean? They look at his 7 or 8 different verticals that he serves in wildly different areas from healthcare to food to law and decides, not for me. I'm a brewery. I'm going to go to somebody who specializes in brewery web design. And while that's an extreme example, many of you don't have a very clear offer. You offer so many different things. I was actually joking with one of my coaches about this. We had somebody that applied for the coaching program that he had worked with like 2 clients, something like that over the last year, still had a decent income because for those 2 clients, he did like 50 different things for them. What I was kind of joking with the coach about was this person is so bad at getting clients that he had to develop every other skill except client acquisition in order to make a living because he needed those skills to milk as much money out of those 2 clients that he had as possible. There's an easier way. Just get clients. Just focus on client acquisition. Referrals are a big part of this. This is one of many elements of client acquisition. And how clear your offer is, or your offer clarity, or your service clarity, your package clarity, your messaging, whatever you want to call this, how clear this is, how easy it is for someone to refer you is a big part of whether or not you'll ever be referred to people. That's the 5th element. Number 6 is something that terrifies most freelancers. And that is how often and when you ask for the referral. Most freelancers, you literally never ask for the referral. So the frequency is 0. The timing is irrelevant because you never ask. But for some freelancers, maybe you ask, but maybe the timing's wrong. The timing matters because you don't want to ask for a referral too early. You don't want to ask for a referral too late. You want to ask for it when the value has been delivered. So there's 2 kind of great times to ask for the referral with your client. One is during or after the onboarding process. At that point, they have hopefully paid a deposit or the first balance or all of it in advance. They've already paid you some amount of money. They've gone through your hopefully amazing onboarding process because you went through our ultimate client onboarding guide or whatever we call it that you can get at sixfigurecreative.com/onboarding. And it walks you through the 5 steps to onboarding every new client the right way. They went through your onboarding process that you learned from us. They loved it. It felt like a 5, 6, 7-star experience at a hotel resort. You haven't finished the project yet, but it's early enough on where the amount of the excitement that they have is the highest possible. Great time to ask for a referral. The second time is when you've delivered the final product, the final delivery, whatever it is that you've done, they've got it in their hands now. All the money's been taken care of. Now it's time to ask for the referral. Those are the 2 best times to ask during the project. But also frequency matters. Because remember what I talked about top of mind? If you don't ask people if they know of anyone that needs your services ever again, then there's fewer chances for you to be top of mind. When you ask people if they know of anyone who needs your services, that brings you back top of mind. And now there's obviously diminishing returns. You don't want to just text someone or call someone every other week, every other day, asking if they know anyone. There's a certain point where you're probably hurting yourself, right? But I think the 2 asks during the project, one during onboarding, one during delivery or after delivery, and then once or twice per year, if you've communicated outside of the ask, like meaning the 2 times they hear from you is not just you asking if they know of anyone who needs your services. You stay top of mind through other means. You're still a regular face or name, especially for you people who don't have a ton of clients. You can ask 1 or twice per year. Just directly ask them if they know of anyone. Hey, I'm trying to get a few more clients for the rest of this year. Do you know of anyone who's looking for this project or this type of work or whatever? Just make the damn ask. It's not difficult. It can be a little intimidating, but unless you hate money, there's no real downside to it. As long as you ask just twice during the project and then just once or twice throughout the year, and you're staying in regular touch with your client, you'll get more clients this way. Let's talk about number 7 now. And this is kind of the last major factor in the referral. Then I want to talk about a force multiplier that I think is the biggest thing most freelancers are just ignoring. But number 7 is the quality of your past clients. Bottom line, shitty clients will refer other shitty clients if they refer any at all. And that's because shitty clients, you can deliver an amazing service, but because they're a shitty client, they'll hate it. You can deliver the exact same service to 2 different people. One is a shitty client, one's a dream client. The dream client will love it. The shitty client will hate it for no reason other than the fact that they're a shitty client. And so if they refer any clients at all, they'll be a shitty client, and that shitty client will not like you and they'll badmouth you. If they refer anyone, it'll be other shitty clients. Whereas the other side, dream clients, they will enjoy working with you because they're the right fit for you. Dream clients who like your work have a higher likelihood of referring people to you because they actually liked working with you, and they'll refer more dream clients to you. So the mistake a lot of freelancers fall into is they get stuck in this hell of bill paying work where the only stuff they work on is stuff that they hate. It's shitty clients because they need money. And I get it. I've been there before. But then those shitty clients refer other shitty clients to you. And you just go on this downward spiral of just like, it's like idiocracy. It's just like the family tree of shitty clients just multiplies faster until one day you wake up in the future and your client pool is so diluted with just trash that you just want to burn it all down and start again. So your client quality matters. It matters with the number of clients that you're going to get referred to you. It matters with your reputation. It matters in staying top of mind or asking for referrals because you don't want to talk to or stay top of mind with your shitty clients. You don't want a referral from your shitty client. You don't want to ask your referral for your shitty client. A lot of times, shitty clients are harder to get good results for or good outcomes for. I'll give you an example. In music production, when a bad band comes in the studio who's terrible at their instruments and writes shitty songs, the product is going to be shitty. And I always told, you're getting a glimpse at old Brian. I'm 39 now. I turned 39 a month ago. 25-year-old Brian was a very different person. I would tell bands to their face, I can take your level of quality 2 steps above where you are now. If you were diarrhea, I can get you to a solid shit. If you're shit, I can get you to a nice polished turd. If you're a polished turd, I can get you to something presentable to the humanity. If you're presentable to humanity, I can get you to pretty high heights. If you're already pretty high heights, I can take you to the finish line. I can get you what you need, whatever you need. And so when you get those just trash bands, the diuretic bands, really 25-year-old term, the end product, the result's gonna be pretty trash, pretty bad, pretty diuretic. And so quality matters a lot in everything in your business. And the quality of your past clients has a cascading effect amongst everything. Before I get to the force multiplier here, I wanna give like one extra bonus thing here, because this does affect your referrals. Not necessarily the amount of leads you get from referrals, but the actual clients you get from referrals. And that is your sales process. Can you actually close the referral clients? Some people, they've been relying on referrals for so long that they've gotten lazy with their sales process. So your idea of sales is, hey, Brian, how much is it for X, Y, or Z? And your response is, hey, client, or hey, referral, here's how much it is. Do you want it or not? That's how I was for a long time. And it cost me a lot of money. If you don't have a real sales process meant to turn strangers into clients, you're losing a lot of money. If you have a good, legit sales process, which we covered on the most relevant recent episodes were episode 350. The episode title was What 1,600 Sales Calls Taught Me About Closing Complete Strangers. It was like a 7 laws type episode. And probably the best one to start with for sales, if this is an area you suck at, is episode 285. The entire freelance sales process from beginning to end. It was part of the sales series. We had a multi-part series there. So that actually went from 285, 86, and 87. So that's probably the best place to start. If you go to sixfigurecreative.com/285, it'll take you to that series, starting with that episode. It's probably a good place to start if you suck at sales, if you can't turn strangers into clients. That's kind of a bonus. It's not directly influencing the amount of referrals you get, but it influences how many clients you get. It's an important part. But all those 7.5 things, the 7 plus the bonus, all those things kind of add up to a spectrum for your referability, that referability spectrum. Think of it as like a score from 1 to 100 or 0 to 100. Everyone has a weak point in one or more areas. Others have a lot of strong points. For example, some of you are very unlikable, but you get great results. You are willing to put in the systematic work of staying top of mind. You have a solid reputation. Your offer clarity is so-so. You don't ask for the referral ever. You say there's like strengths and weaknesses. Some of you are like, I'll ask everyone for referral. I am not shy. I just need clients. I don't care. But your results aren't great. Maybe you're very likable. Maybe you do stay top of mind, but your reputation's so-so because your work's not that great. Everyone has pros and cons, pluses and minuses. And if I thought about it ahead of time, I'm going to create some sort of scoring system so you can kind of rate yourself just as like a self-assessment. But if you just think through all those areas I talked about through this past 20, 25 minutes or so, you can think through like you knew what your weak points were and where you need help on to kind of like start incrementally improving that score from 0 to 100. Maybe you're like at a 63 right now. And you're like, okay, if I start following up more often, maybe I set up some systems so I don't have to rely on memory. And I'm like, okay, now I can systematically follow up through reminders on my calendar or my CRM or some other thing. So now I go from a 63 to like an 80, right? Cool. Maybe I need to work on my personality skills. So I'll go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book that I have a first edition of from like when was this? If you're on YouTube, I'm actually holding it up right now. 1937, first edition or second edition. I don't know. I paid a lot for it. You go read that book and work on just basic skills when it comes to people skills. But it's a lot of work. And it's a slow slog. But there's one more of these that is a force multiplier for how many referrals you're going to get. And it sounds obvious, but I'm going to break this down in a way that is going to hopefully light your brain up in a way that makes you excited and gives you an alternative to just slogging through the referrability spectrum and matrix and all this stuff. That factor, the force multiplier, is the number of past clients that you've worked with before. For many people, the only way you get a new client is through a referral. And the only way you get the referral is from your past client list. So if you don't have many past clients, you're not going to get many new referrals. And if you don't get enough new referrals to replace your lost clients, you start shrinking. I'll give you an example here. Let's just say you worked with 25 clients last year. It's the end of 2025 now. Let's just say in 2024, you worked with 25 clients. 15 of those came back to you this year, 2025. So you went from 25 clients down to 15 clients. But those 15 clients referred 5 more clients to you. So this year you had a total of 20 clients. It went down because you lost 10 clients. You only got 5 more. That's called churn and growth. Sometimes churn is worse than your growth, and that's where businesses shrink year over year. So that means this year you got 20 clients. Now let's say of those 20 clients, 12 come back next year. About 60% is what you can expect for freelancers. These are not just numbers pulled out of an ass. This is what I've seen with a lot of clients. It's about 60 to 70% of your clients will come back each year. Niche dependent. Obviously, if you're a wedding photographer, you're not having your clients from last year come back again this year, I hope. But in a lot of services, there's other services you can sell, or they'll come back for more of the same thing. So 25 clients last year, 20 clients this year. Of those 20 this year, only 12 come back next year, and 4 refer new clients to you. So next year, you only have 16 total. You see, you went from 25 to 20 to 16. The year after that, it'll be 12. You can start to see the downward trajectory. Now, obviously, it won't be this smooth, and there could be bumps here and there, and it could be even worse one year. But obviously, you want more referral clients than you lose any given year. So if you lose 5 clients, you want at least 5 more, maybe 10 more, because this is how you grow year after year after year after year. This is how businesses grow over time. Relatively obvious stuff so far, but there's a way to supercharge your referrals. If you go back to the referrability spectrum that I talked about earlier in this episode, you can improve that referrability score that you give yourself by obsessing over delivering better results for your clients, by being a more likable person, by relentlessly staying top of mind, by fiercely protecting your reputation like your life depends on it, it kind of does, and making sure your offer is crystal clear so it's easy for people to refer you to them and asking for the referral more often, et cetera, et cetera. You can do all that, but that's, again, a long-term fix. It's not really a supercharge. So where's the supercharge I've been talking about this whole episode? It's by getting more clients. Now that sounds stupid, but it's how you run your business right now. The only way, and I'm talking to like 99% of freelancers who have ever listened to this podcast before, the only way you plan to get new clients is through referrals. And if you're not getting enough referrals to grow year over year over year over year, then the fastest way to supercharge more referrals is to get more clients. But the problem is those two things are one and the same for you. Most of you do not have a way that is independent from referrals to get clients. And unless you already have a steady source of new clients from something that is not referrals right now, there's really only one option if you want to get strangers to hire you relatively quickly, and that is paid ads. You've heard me talk about this on the podcast before. I usually talk about it this time of year because it's end of the year right now. We just got through the most expensive season to run paid ads, which is Black Friday through Christmas. We're getting into January. Through January and February and even March is the lowest, cheapest time to run ads. So I always start to talk about this time of year because it's very important to bring this up because you have a limited window here to make this work well. But I want you to keep something in mind. If you are 100% booked solid, only on word of mouth, you're probably not listening to this point, but there's obviously no point in running ads, at least not until things slow down for you. But if you're not 100% booked solid right now, there's really no reason not to run paid ads. I mean, obviously, don't do it the wrong way, but if you can do it the right way, there's no reason. Josh Bird's one of our clients who did this for his studio. He was relying only on referrals his entire career. He had a sporadic calendar of projects, and just in his first $1,000 in ad spend, here's how it all panned out. $927 spent, generated 614 leads. It was like $1.51 a lead, and brought in over $32,000 in projects. And these projects he generated from the paid ads have already turned into repeat projects at a higher and higher number. So these clients are going to stay with him for long term, and they've turned it into referrals, all from $927 in ad spend. Same thing with Yannick, a brand designer we work with. She works with boutique hotels. She charges like $20,000 or more for her projects. So she's like a high-end designer. And within her first 2 months with us, she spent $1,272. She generated 255 leads at like 85 cents a lead, which is insane. She closed 4 clients from that. One was a pay in full, 3 were deposits paid for her waiting list, but that's 4 clients. I don't know what the specifics are of the 3 deposits paid, but they're probably that $15,000 to $25,000 or more per project, which is like $60,000 plus the ones you already paid in full. That's like $80,000, something like that, from $1,200 in ad spend. I bring this up because I've worked with hundreds of freelancers at this point. And while there are occasions where, hey, they have a large social media following, or they happen to have an email list, or they have a YouTube channel we can optimize, that's the exception to the rule. That's not the rule. The rule that almost every freelancer we work with comes in with is they have limited network. You know what? I should have put that in this episode outline. I didn't think about that. What area do you live in is a huge, huge element. This is a bonus to your referability spectrum. What area do you live in? Do you live around a lot of your ideal clients or not? We have clients who come to us who live in the middle of nowhere. They have no large network to get clients from. They have no social following, literally no way of getting clients. And that leads you to like a small handful of options that comes with cold outreach. It can be getting off your butt and going to networking events or going to conferences and meeting people. I have yet to find a reliable long-term solution in those areas that actually work. So that basically brings down to most of our clients, at least on the short to midterm, we're relying heavily on paid ads because that's the fastest way to generate a lot of leads. It's the fastest way to learn a lot about what works and doesn't work in their niche for them. It learns a lot about the pricing that works best in their niche, unless it's optimized pricing in their sales process, and lets us land clients. And those clients turn into repeat clients. They turn into referrals. And when you look at that illustration I gave you where year over year over year, you're losing more clients that you're gaining, this is the thing that can reverse that trend to where 20 clients this year turns into 25 next year, which turns into 30 the year after that, 35 after that. And as long as you're stair-stepping every year, little bit by little bit, that's how you go from $75,000 to $100,000 to $125,000 a year to $150,000 to $175,000 to outpace inflation. Nothing is worse than your income going down in an inflation environment where inflation is making shit more and more expensive. Because that means that your buying power is going down faster than it's actually dropping in your business. So like I said, if you have any room on your calendar and you don't have other prospects in line to get new clients to refill what you're losing, there is zero reason not to run ads. If this is something you need help with, we're happy to help. We are shut down right now. This episode airs end of the year. We shut down Six Figure Creative for the last 2 weeks of the year. But that doesn't mean you can't go in and apply for our coaching program so you can hit the ground running January 5th, I think is when we're back. Maybe my team will be taking calls before that, but go to sixfigurecreative.com/coaching, fill out the application there, and then my team can review it to see if you're a good fit or not. If you're a good fit, we'll walk through to see if paid ads work for you or not. Does it work in your niche? We've worked with a lot of different niches. We know which niches we can't help. We know which ones we can help. We know which ones we crush it in. We know which ones we kind of in. So if you're not one that we can crush it in, we'll let you know. Just go to sixfigurecreative.com/coaching, fill out the application, and we'll chat with you about seeing if we can make paid ads work for your business. But that's all I got for you today. Work on your referability spectrum, that score, and make the most of this limited time we have for this first quarter of 2026. And that is where paid ads are the absolute cheapest we can get for the year. Peace. I'll see you next week.